Shireen will do roll call, please.
Brandt.
Here.
Frick.
Here.
Greenway.
Here.
Mueller.
Here. All right, we have a quorum. Is there any public comment tonight?
No.
Okay. We'll move on to approving the agenda before us.
Motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second?
Roll call?
Brandt.
Yes.
Greenway.
Yes.
Frick.
Yes.
Mueller.
Yes. Number 4, we've got approval of our minutes from the July 13, 2026 meeting.
I'll
Well-
make a,
Motion to approve the minutes from the July 13th, 2026 school board meeting.
second?
Roll call, please.
Frick.
Yes.
Greenway.
Yes.
Brandt.
Yes.
Mueller.
Yes. And this would be the time for any conflict of interest, direct or indirect. All right, we will move on to our consent agenda. I'll entertain a motion to approve items A through H as presented.
Motion to approve the consent agenda, items A through H as presented.
Second.
Wonderful. Roll call?
Greenway.
Yes.
Brandt.
Yes.
Frick.
Yes.
Mueller.
Yes. All right, next up we have student achievement and good news. Got Carrie Mitzel up first here.
Well, good evening. Happy to share a little bit about Beetle School. We're going to start off with some of our building changes at Beetle. As you know, we moved the kindergarten out last year, so it allowed some flexibility in our school to make some changes. One of the things that we tried to do was to bring some of our things that are in our basement rooms up to the main level, just to help with kind of that transportation of students throughout the day and making the most of their time. So as you come into Beetle now, you'll notice that our library is right in the hub of our school. It's right across from the office area. It was an old kindergarten room at one point. My kids used to kind of call it the palace room. It was a big, nice big room, and it has the porch right off of there. So our library was moved last year at the end of the year, and then Mrs. Clark, our librarian, spent some time this summer as well helping organize that, so we're excited for that. With that, we were able to expand and have a second resource room for our special education students. So our special education classrooms are all together along with our speech room in an area where they can kind of share services and share materials, and that is really nice. We were able to move one of our second grade classrooms. It's kind of been on an island for a little bit up in our third and fifth grade area. They're now down on our main floor, so all three of our second grade classrooms are close to each other, and those teachers can collaborate a little bit better. We also moved our intervention room, our title room that was downstairs, and probably, again, one of our older classrooms, basement level. Moved that up to our main floor, so, you know, depending on the time of the year, we may have 60 or 70 kids that are getting some sort of intervention or title service, and having that on the main floor and easy access for all of our students should be helpful. With that move became, we have a room downstairs now that we're calling our multi-purpose room. We used it for a lot of our staff meetings today. We'll use it for writers roundtable. We'll use it for community speakers, and our classrooms will use it for special projects or when they want just a little bit more of an open space for kids to work on things. So we'll use it at that time. We also have a guidance counselor classroom. So in the past, our guidance counselor has traveled from classroom to classroom to deliver a guidance curriculum, just working out of a small office space. Now she'll be able to have students come to her classroom for our guidance lessons. So those are kind of the major highlights of changes at Beetle School. And then that kind of transitions to that next part. We have a lot of changes in the way Beetle looks. As you walk in, we're celebrating 100 years of Beetle School, so depending on where you come in, you'll see stair strips with Beetle Pride and celebrating 100 and all of those things. So we have signage to kind of celebrate our school. and doing a number of different things for our 100th activities. A couple that I'd like to highlight are we'd like to have our retired school staff contact the school. So we have a trolley rented in the homecoming parade. We want to have our current staff, our former staff, our students, and our student council kind of have a space in the homecoming parade. But we kind of need to get in touch with those retired staff. We're not sure who wants to come back, and so that's on September 25th. That's our homecoming parade. And then on September 22nd, we're planning for a community open house from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock. So we'll have cupcakes and ice cream. We'll have some bouncers for the kids during the day. Community open house from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock, and we want to get the word out that whether you're a Beetle alum or just a community member that want to see the school, come on in and check it out. Have some ice cream and cupcakes with us. Look around the school, see what you think it might have looked like when you were there, if you were a former parent or a student. And so we're doing that. Worked with some outside businesses to provide shirts for all of our students and staff. We have some generous donors in the Move Group, First Dakota, Edward Jones, Slumberland, and House of Brands, who are all making that possible. So we're excited for that. I'm lucky enough to have an uncle who does aerial photography. He's going to come over with his airplane. Dave Tunge will take a picture for us of the kids on the playground. We'll come up with some 100 design, and we'll get pictures out to all of our students and things afterwards to commemorate that. We're uploading photos right now, so I know on the Yankton alumni webpage, you can upload photos from your time at Beetle School. So we have things that go back to the 40s and 50s, and we're compiling all those old pictures. We don't have them all, so as I speak to people in the community, if they say, "Hey, I went to school there in 1964," hey, you got a kindergarten picture from when you were there? If you can, upload it or bring it by, and we'd like to get kind of a collection of those things so we could have kind of a slideshow video during our open house for those that want to see that. But have a number of things in the works. These are all being done through committee work at Beetle School. We have staff that wanted to be part of reconfiguring our building and staff that wanted to be part of planning 100th activities. So as we're doing this, we're doing it as a team, and I appreciate their efforts to help us get it done. Questions about Beetle that I can answer?
I look forward to seeing you Thursday with my oldest there, so we'll see the changes as we get to go in there. I'm sure I know she's super excited to come in there.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun night with kids coming back having not a lot of idea about the shift in rooms. And, we did have some students helping us move books at the end of the year, but that was, kind of a blank slate at that point. So when they come back and see new rooms, new library, things like that, it'll feel different for them, but it'll be exciting. And it's always exciting on open house night too, so it should be fun. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, we have Ryan Moore's fall activities.
Dr. Kindle, I was hoping maybe he left his script up here and we could call him back that he left his script here. Inside joke if you were at our staff meeting this morning. All right, so if you've been around Crane Youngworth Field, the tennis courts, Yankton High School, there's some action going on already over there. We start school obviously in a week, but we're off and running with the 2026-27 activity year already. So last week on Monday, the high school boys and girls soccer teams got started with practice. Girls tennis started, cheer and dance started, and sideline cheer started. So they all got going a week ago from today. Our soccer teams opened their season this week already on Friday at Sioux Falls Lincoln. The first home soccer games are Tuesday, August 25th at home against T. So that'll be here before we know it. Our girls tennis team, they opened the season on the road at Pier. So they play Pier and Rapid City Central on Friday. It's part of a tournament that Pier puts on, and it's an opportunity for us to get a West River opponent that we wouldn't otherwise see. Their first home event is on September 1st. It's a triangular at home against O'Gorman and Brandon Valley. Cheer and Dance, they open their season at the Aberdeen Central Invite up there on Saturday, August 29th. And I guess the fun thing about that for them, I talked to both of their coaches, I'll get to this part in a second, but the Bucks football team opens their season in Aberdeen on August 28th. And because the cheer and dance invite starts so early in the morning, we go up and we spend the night. So the girls have something structured to do that night. They can go cheer on their guys, the football team, before they get to bed and go to the Aberdeen Central cheer and dance invite. So that'll work out fun for them. And speaking of invite, our home invite for the cheer and dance girls is on Thursday, September 10th. So I mentioned the football team. They got started with practice. They're out there right now as I'm speaking, so it's probably pretty warm for them out there. They open the season, as I mentioned, at Aberdeen Central on August 28th, and then the home opener for the Bucks is the following week on Friday, September 4th, and that's a rematch with the state championship game from the Dome with the Pierre Governors. So they're obviously looking forward to that rematch, and Pierre's going to be really good again. And Kelloland's already called and has made it their game of the week, so they're all over that one. They can't wait. So that might be quite the busy night over at Crane on our season opener. It might be an early homecoming type of crowd. I think that night it'll be busy for sure. Boys golf, they started practice today as well. They open their season a week from today. Next Monday, Tuesday, they play in what's called the Warrior Links Invite. So Sioux Falls, Washington, and Brandon Valley. It's a 2-day event with a lot of teams from all over the state coming into the Sioux Falls Metro for that area. And then our boys golf invite is at Hillcrest on September 11th. Cross country also started practice today. They opened their season at the O'Gorman invite on the 27th of August, and their home invite is on Thursday, September 24th, which is part of homecoming week. The volleyball team is the only one that hasn't started yet, and they start practices on Thursday this week. Their first game is at Brookings on August 25th, and then their home opener is August 27th at home against Dakota Valley. And that would be the night that we're looking forward to debuting the renovations that have taken place at the Yankton High School gym. So as you guys all may realize, that building was built in 1996, so it's 30 years old. So for its 30th birthday, I guess we'll call it, there are some upgrades that have taken place in the gym. So if you get a chance to attend an event here sometime this fall, stop by. It looks wonderful in there. There's some things that aren't quite ready yet, but there's people, contractors working, and hopefully everything will get itself taken care of here very soon. And then Mr. Mitzel mentioned homecoming week. So for planning purposes, homecoming is Friday, September 25th. And then coronation and our Athletic and Fine Arts Hall of Fame will take place the night before on Thursday, September 24th. So that's a good week to have a 100th-year celebration when it's homecoming week. So that's great. And then last but not least, we have our Yankton High School Athletic Booster Club Fall Sports Kickoff this week. It's Thursday, which is the 13th. The serving of food will begin at 6 o'clock in the area kind of outside my office, right by the gym. And that's free and open to the public. The food is sponsored by Hy-Vee, and then drinks are sponsored by Chesterman's and Culligan. And realistically, depending on how many people show up, if we start serving food at 6, it's usually 30 to 40 minutes before we get everybody through, and then we get the coaches all talk for 2 to 3, 4 minutes at the most apiece, and then everybody's out of there by about 7:15 or so. So that's always a fun event to kick off our fall sports season this week. So lots of stuff coming up, and it'll be really busy here really quickly. So any questions for me? All right, thanks. You bet, go ahead.
So can you tell us, Heron had a storm go through, and it had an impact on their outdoor facilities. Will that impact us at all?
It will impact us. So it'll impact us in soccer and in football. So if you didn't hear, Huron had a storm go through. I think it was on July 2nd. And by dumb luck, I used to live in Huron, and we had already planned to go visit some friends there on the 4th of July. So we came in 2 days after the storm, and it looked like a bomb had been dropped on the city. If you can envision what it looks like after a blizzard with 20 inches of snow when it gets plowed all the way up to the sides, you went down city streets and all you could see was tree branches that had been pushed off the streets because of plows going through. So I had heard that there was damage at the stadium where Huron plays, so I had texted their AD, and he said, yep, that's true. And I said, well, I'm actually going to be there in a couple days. I'll swing by and take a look. So the 4 light posts, if you can imagine Crane Youngworth Field, you got the big 4 light towers. So one of their towers and their 100+ mile-an-hour wind came down, and it came across the track and the turf. So obviously however tall the pole is, landed across the track and damaged the track and damaged the turf. Their AD told me the turf part will be fixed later this week, so they've been working on that, but they had an engineer come out and they discovered that the 3 other light towers were not engineerily sound anymore. So those other 3 light towers have to come down. So what that means is, this is why if you're a little behind on some contractor stuff, things could be worse. Huron is definitely in a worse position. So if you're a Huron Tiger football fan, you have no such thing as Friday night lights this year because you have no lights. So Huron's football games are all going to start at 4 p.m. And that does affect us because we do go up there. I believe it's on September 18th, if that's the correct Friday. So 4 o'clock start time should get those games in, finished by 7 o'clock when everybody else is getting ready to kick off. They'll be done. So, and also talking with their AD, as you get further into October, those start times might have to move up a little bit sooner yet because, as you know, the sun starts to set a little bit quicker. So, and then they also had to move their soccer start times too because 4 and 6, they're normal. I think they're 4 and 6. Some of us are 5 and 7. Either way, that's not going to work either with no lights. So I think they're playing. I think now we're 3 and 5 is what I think. I'd have to go back and look for sure, but absolutely, that affected them a lot. So it always could be worse. So they're going to be dealing with no lights this fall at all. So I jokingly told their AD, I said, well, geez, if you guys make it to the state championship somehow, your kids aren't going to know how to play at 7 o'clock. So hopefully we see you there.
Then the last thing, Mr. Morris,
Yeah.
you and I talk a lot about this time of year. So heat protocol, can you just address that a little bit publicly and for the board?
Yep. So we've got 2 athletic trainers, as you may recall. Last year, we had a partnership with Avira and the school district to hire a second trainer, which, by the way, has been fantastic because our previous trainer, Trevor Woods, by himself, was simply unable to manage all the different activities that were going on. So with Julie Brennan, our new trainer, we've got a male and a female, and they're able to cover everything. So the reason I bring that up is because we have what is called a wet bulb temperature reader, so to speak, and Trevor and Julie pay very close attention to what that says about certain levels of, takes into fact heat, humidity, and your dew point, and it specifically lays out what we should be doing every day at practice, whether we should be going for football, for example, no pads at all, or if we should be just going with helmets or just with shoulder pads. And it also lays out the duration of how long you should be out there, and really basically it's a responsible way to make sure that the kids aren't out in the heat too long, because the last thing anybody wants is a heat tragedy. And the South Dakota High School Activity Association has implemented some more changes from NFHS, which if you can remember back when I played football, Mr. D was a lineman, so I'll use him as an example. Realistically, I was a wide receiver, and we all did the same type of conditioning drills. So what NFHS, which is National Federation of High School Sports, has done, they've changed the type of conditioning that different athletes do on the field. So your offense and defensive linemen are now required to do different type of conditionings than perhaps, say, your quarterbacks, receivers, or running backs are doing. And that's obviously to try to prevent the heat injury or the heat illness or the heat deaths that can take place too with heat stroke and the heat illness. Plus, every one of our fall coaches is required to take an NFHS course, which is for heat illness. So before they can go out to practice, which the ones who are all out there now, they've all taken it, but that's just another 30-minute course to refresh your mind every year that these are the indicators of somebody who might have, a heat illness, or these are things you can do to prevent the heat illness. So it's really proactive on the National Federation's part, on our state's part, and our school district's part. And just before I came up here, there's a form that I had Dr. Kindle sign off. He and I both have to sign off on a form that all of our coaches have taken a concussion course, a heat illness course. There's also a collapsed student course, so we make sure that all of our coaches have taken those prior to their practices, and it's just a good way to remind them that, yes, it's fun, and there's all kinds of things that our kids do want to win, and you're going to win and lose games, but the most important thing is to keep them safe and to keep them healthy while they're whatever sport they're participating in.
Thank you.
You bet. Anything else?
Thank you. Greatly appreciate the extra information there, and it's always good to know that the kiddos that are out there are safe and have a lot of people watching after them. So thank you. The next one we have here is the ASBSD and SASD conference. We had school board members as well as our administrators attend this conference this past week. So we're going to hear from a few of us here if they'd like to speak to it. I'm going to jump off right away here and just say I am still having like an adrenaline rush after it. I still am just so excited for different things that we learned, opportunities that we have, as well as knowing where the district stands. I left feeling so confident and having so much pride in the Yankton School District, and I'm just very grateful and thankful to be a small part of that. So I know others had great experiences too and great takeaways, so I'll let you guys jump in.
I'll just share the brief part is that the school board conference meeting happens annually. I know it's all administrators and you guys are all aware of it, but to anybody else watching or listening to the public, it keeps us aware of what's going on at a state level too, across that all public schools in our state are experiencing, such as AI and pros and cons to that, and what should we watch out for and what have people implemented successfully and or not successfully, and what not to do. And it's good to hear from what's going on. And then also to ensure that we can provide staff with the best possible training for things that they're experiencing in the classroom. And you always learn a lot. Yeah.
I'll just chime in too. I look forward to it every year because I think as we sit here as a board, our whole purpose is that we are doing public education. So why not be the role models to educate ourselves? Because there's always something new, even after this many years of being on the board, that I always pick up. Anything from scenarios that are going on in other school districts to be aware of, to legislative things, just numerous things that we're able to do, and maybe we're doing them right, and maybe we just need to tweak, and maybe it's one of those aha moments, oh, that's something we should do. So I appreciate the opportunity to be able to go and to learn and to bring that back to make the district even better.
Just briefly, you guys have all said everything that needs to be said, but it's a great way to network. It's also a good time for me to realign as what our job is as school board members. Excuse me. So a lot of the courses you get to dive into different specifics and situations that you see other school districts that have struggled with, and the necessary steps you should take from a different perspective. So it's just a nice way to start the year, reminding us what we need to do as board members and how to drive the school. And we were very well represented with multiple awards for our school district and people. So it was, like Jacqueline said, a proud moment to say you were from Yankton. So
I'm going to add on to the awards here, that comment. I'm sure most of you know, but we had Dr. Kendall and Kathy, and we had a few others from the Yankton district that also won awards. And yes, it's so well deserved for both. The leadership and the council and the coaching they provide is truly wonderful on all different levels, and it's greatly appreciated. So it was very exciting to get to celebrate all of those who were represented in that award ceremony, and really fun to get to watch and cheer everyone on. So you guys had a good crew there cheering both of you on. So I will say, Dr. Kendall, do you want to say anything, or any administrators that would like to speak to the conference at all?
I would tell you that, you know, when you get a compliment from a middle school student, it's a really big deal. And my 6th grade grandson said the food at the luncheon was the bomb. So how can you beat that? That's a win.
You can go ahead if you'd like to.
And just on that note, for anybody that's experienced Kathy or Dr. Kendall in her role as outstanding school board member of South Dakota for the year, and Dr. Kendall as outstanding superintendent for South Dakota for the year, there's the open house coming up. I was pulling it up on the school district website to verify all the information, but it's coming up Wednesday, August 12th, 2 to 4 p.m. at the Yankton High School Commons, and that's open to the public to come.
So come and celebrate. More celebration. We'll see what we can do. All right, we will go on to our next one here. Number 9 for today is an update on our child nutrition department.
Thank you. I have to adjust that because I'm not as tall as Ryan here. I'm Laura Haracek, and just a super quick update regarding summer food. Last week was our last week of distribution, so we have some good numbers to share. Our Grab and Go meal program distributed 9,688 bags, which equals 68,000 meals. We're kind of a numbers group here. We distributed over 4,253 gallons of milk. So with the current price of a gallon of milk, it's about $15,000 that we saved our parents and our community alone just on milk. So that's kind of a fun number to have. But we had some great partners this summer. The Yankton Fire Department was there pretty much every distribution. They gave out 32 smoke alarms. And lots of kids were happy to see Dan Prendable from the fire department. He was there most days. They were just so happy to see him, and he gave stickers and information away, so that was kind of fun. But we had so many great stories this summer, and many thankful individuals that told us that this program is really helping them out. So it makes participating in this program really special to us. And I just wanted to say, briefly that, we as a child nutrition department are so thankful for Dr. Kendall and Shireen and the school board's support for this program. A couple years ago when I suggested the program, I had all of my facts lined up and I was, ready to defend the program. And I think Dr. Kendall and Shireen said, if it'll help the community, let's go for it. And I'm like, wait, I have all of this. I was ready to make my speech out loud. But so no, we're just super grateful for all the support that we get, and it's unwavering. So we're very grateful. But just excited to start the new year. Got a lot of new menu options for all the buildings. So just really excited for the new school year. Does anybody have any questions for me on summer?
No questions, but just the comment of thank you for being dedicated to continue that, because I know that makes a difference in a lot of kiddos and parents' lives.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
I say no questions either. Same sentiment. It's fun to get to drive past and see all the people that are pulling in to pick up their meals, and hearing the numbers. I love numbers, so thank you. 68,000 meals is phenomenal.
That's great. Good numbers.
Yeah. So thank you so much for the efforts that go into that and all those that participate.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. Up next, we have Rob Taylor giving us updates from the Building and Grounds Department.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I just want to run through a list of some of the stuff that we've had done over the summer, and there are a few photos that'll pop up there. They're a little further down on the list, but we have completed projects. Carpet. We did 3 rooms at Stewart, 4 rooms at Lincoln, 8 rooms at the high school in the science wing, as well as the wrestling room upgrade that we did there. If you take a look around the administrative building, including where you're seated, we had new carpet put out the entire administrative building here, and we went with some school colors as opposed to the old brown and goldish tan colors that we had. We also did new carpeting throughout the entire CMTEA building, which I believe will be utilized quite a bit in the near future, as well as some refreshed paint over there to get that place ready to do some more training and teaching with students throughout the district. Over at Beetle, we had the tile floors removed out of 2 of the restrooms on the first and second floor, and some new vinyl style tile installed there to improve that area and get rid of some of the old, very dated ceramic tile. The entire interior of Lincoln Elementary has been spruced up with a fresh coat of paint throughout all the classrooms, hallways. For concrete projects, we had several small ones which were completed, including the CMTEA parking lot that used to have the gravel through the middle. If any of you have been over there, that turns into a mud pit during the winter and during the rainy times. We opted to fill that in, make it a little safer and a little cleaner for people parking and walking in and out of the building. In front of Beetle Elementary, we've struggled for years since I've been here. They have some really nice buddy benches out front for the kids to sit on before and after school, and because of the shade of the trees and the design of the way the horseshoe-shaped benches, we could never get grass to grow in there. So we tried filling it in with gravel, but as you know, with lots of elementary school kids, gravel's not always a good thing to have when they're out in front of the school. So with some discussion with Mr. Mitzel, and he agreed that it would be better if we moved on to concrete. So we concreted that area in front of Beetle, as well as replaced some of the older bollards in the north parking lot that were rusted and getting weak on the side of the school for safety. The other two things we did were out at Crane Youngworth Field. We've had our dumpsters behind the concession stand, and Laura can tell you that turns into a muddy mess back there as well with all the dumpsters. So we've concreted that area and made it a little easier to roll dumpsters in and out, and hopefully keep it a little neater for the public eye back there. The last of the small concrete projects was done was just over here on 25th Street at one of our school bus stops. We determined that, you know, with the snow, it was tough for kids to get from the sidewalk to the street where the bus was stopping. So with the community association's approval and the homeowners association and the city of Yankton all cooperated and agreed that it would be better that we put a small concrete walkway for the kids there at their bus stop. So that concrete was installed and the new sign just went up, so kids will have a new safe path in the winter to get from the sidewalk to the buses. The largest concrete project, if anybody wants to take a look, is to stop over to the high school and the rear loading dock area. The loading dock, again, as Ryan mentioned earlier, the school's 30 years old. It had seen 30 years of decay, a lot of salt and breakdown over the years. The dock was crumbling. Laura can attest it was very hard to get meals in and out and across to the lunch delivery truck on a daily basis without having things spill or tumble or nearly fall over getting into the truck. So that has been totally replaced, the total top of the deck and everything put back in place, new bumpers as well as the drainage and the lower pads that the vehicles pull in and park on, and the walkways. So all that's been approved upon. Off the concrete, we've had some fire alarm upgrades. As you know, we're on a 5-year plan at both the middle school and high school, getting those updated. And we're 1 year ahead at the middle school than we are at the high school. Both of those projects have been completed. As far as the install, ABC Alarms and Power Source Electric are both on scene today and tomorrow doing final checkouts on the alarm upgrades to make sure that everything they installed is working and safe for the school year. The next large project we had done was the roofs. So we're at 95% complete on the roofs. We did a large section of Stewart Elementary that was having a lot of leakage issues, and then we were continuing with our 10-year plan of replacing some roof at the high school. Both of those projects are complete, as in they are watertight and 95%. The only thing that has to be done, and they always come back late each year to do the metal flashings around the roof. It's a separate subcontractor that comes in, and that can be done while school's in session. It doesn't disturb school or break anything up when that gets done. But once done, we have 2 more large sections of roof that are watertight and good for the next 25 years. Yankton Middle School locker project, that has been going on since before I took this job in 2022, where you can see the photo above. We had the peach mauve colored lockers throughout the school on 2 floors. The bottom picture is from the same hallway once they've been replaced, and just makes the school look a little more modern, and it replaces a lot of broken old lockers that the staff was constantly dealing with there. Next we have the bleacher replacement. As you can see, the old bleachers, again, these are a couple of photos from our security cameras. The old bleachers were red in color, and the new ones are black. They actually have YHS in on the home team side. The bleachers are also about 95% complete. We are still missing the backs for the home team side. They were ordered a year ago with everything else, but we're told there is a back order on bleacher seat backs. So we're still waiting on a determined date when they will arrive. The last thing you'll notice out of the main gym is the actual floor. So while we had the bleachers completely removed from wall to wall, we had the floor stripped completely down to the original wood. All the flooring markings sanded off, and it was repainted this year. As you see, the old was black, the new is red with a new Y. A little simpler but neater and very nice design. Mr. Moores actually took the reins on that because I had no idea what we would actually want or need on the floor, and all the adjustments that were made to the lines were done by Mr. Moores in conjunction with the flooring company who refinished our entire gym floor. The other gym floors were done with their yearly surface refinishing and maintenance. So all those gym floors were done. Now they were not sanded down and repainted, just the yearly scuff and resurface. And then last, Crane Field had its yearly maintenance done and was groomed and vacuumed and resurfaced. That's it, unless anybody has any questions.
Well, summertime is definitely not vacation time for any of you. So
It is not, and I would like to say thank you to, of course, all of you, but especially to the school district's maintenance and custodial staff. They work hard and long hours all summer and a lot of weekends too, coming in to make sure the schools are cleaned, continue to get cleaned, and ready to go when Monday hits next week.
yeah, thank you to all of them. And I think all those decisions and all those improvements that were made is just huge improvements of quality for the staff and for the students that are working there day in and day out. So thanks. Thank you.
I would like to say this is one of my favorite things, no, you're good, to get updated on. It baffles me, the list. And I think I've shared this with so many people because anytime you come in and do our updates in the summer, the amount of projects that get accomplished it leaves me speechless. I don't know how we manage it, how you manage it, I should say we. So thank you, yes, to all of those people. And I did get to see the middle school tonight, so that was very exciting. And got to see some of those new lockers and new paint colors. So thank you all.
Hey, Rob. I just want to comment on the 30-year thing at the high school. I mean, I knew that the bleachers were getting bad, and when I was over there last week, I think you picked up on this conversation, but I had a couple of the custodians talking to me about the bleachers, and what I didn't realize is that we knew that the bleachers were not going in the way that they should for the past 3 or 4 years, but they were physically, these custodial maintenance people were pushing them with their legs. They had 2 people at a time pushing on them. They had the mover that moves them in at the same. I mean, they just didn't work, and that's really hard work on anybody, no matter what your age is. And so, yeah, it was time to replace them. I had a guy poke the bear with me about, geez, you're already replacing those 30 years. They should last 50. And I said, well, how were you 30 years ago? Because I knew he's had a hip replacement and a knee replacement. And I said, that's exactly what was going on with our bleachers. They needed a hip replacement and a knee replacement. So stuff, you know, it gets old and it gets used. That's the other thing. It's not like our facilities sit there and they don't get used. They get used a lot. And so you do have to update and replace things in a facility.
Yeah, for safety purposes, there was a lot of, again, there's a lot of metal under there that people don't realize that, again, like scissors, it comes out and closes, out and closes. There was a lot of bent. Some of them were worn through. We went through and straightened, again, as you said, since I took over in 2022, or before I took over in 2022, we were already going in there yearly and trying to straighten pieces of metal out, replace things that got bent and bowed. We greased it as often as possible, but again, yeah, the motors, every time they tried to retract those, there were 6 motors on each set. And when they started going in, one side would slip, wouldn't pull as well, and then we had to line it with custodial and maintenance staff and just sit down and physically push to try and keep it even to go in. If it got too far out of kilter, it was stuck, we had to pull it back out and then start over to try and put it away. So it was a big stress on the staff. So they appreciate that everyone saw the need for the replacement. So thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, next we have the physical education curriculum guide. Or no?
Thank you. On behalf of Ms. Valnos, myself, we come tonight to ask for an amendment with our physical education curriculum. On June 9th, 2025, we recommended the approval of our junior K through 12 physical education curriculum guide. And we had that approved under an action item as well. However, during the 2026 legislative session, a new statutory requirement regarding instruction in prenatal human growth and development were enacted through South Dakota Codified Law 13-3-98, 13-3-99, and 13-3-100. And to ensure that we're in compliance with these requirements from the State Department level and from the legislative side, our curriculum guide needed to be updated, even though we just brought this a year ago, but we needed to have some updated language because it came out new to us this last legislative session and came in active July 1st. So tonight we're coming forward with this update under Goal 5, where the physical literate individual recognized the lifelong value of physical activity for health and wellness within the high school physical education and health course. The added content is listed in that document, underlined in red. And then in addition, the South Dakota Department of Education approved the video that we follow along within this curriculum, and that's embedded in there as well. So tonight we come to you on behalf of our Physical Education Committee, Ms. Volness, myself, our administration. We're recommending that the board approve the revised 2025 Junior K through 12 Physical Education Curriculum Guide with those revisions that we're following from the state required legislative sessions with the prenatal human growth and development instruction as outlined in SD South Dakota Codified Law 13-398, 13-399, and 13-3100. Any questions or comments?
All right, thank you. If there's no further discussion, I will entertain a motion to approve
Motion.
the physical education curriculum guide as presented.
Motion to approve the physical education curriculum guide as presented.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Brandt,
Yes.
Frick,
Yes.
Greenway,
Yes.
Mueller.
Yes. All right, we have our open meetings presentation. We've got Sheila Woodward here.
Good evening. I'm not as tall as Todd. As you know from last year, the legislature passed a law that every public body just needs to do a little refresher course on open meetings once a year. I think you all know the rules on open meetings. You know, when you're a public body, things need to take place in front of the public, and they need to get adequate notice of any actions that are going to be taken during a meeting. You know, Shireen and staff get the agenda put on the website. It gets published here. Local news organizations get notified of meetings, and the general rule is that needs to be done at least 24 hours before the meeting. In an emergency, sometimes you can call a meeting with less notice than 24 hours, but that's the rules. The big change wasn't really a big change, but this year the legislative session was focused on agendas and how agendas need to be prepared so that the public has notice of what was going on. You'll be happy to know the Yankton School District has done this correctly, as near as I can tell. But there were some public bodies that would just have an agenda that said new business, old business, and it wouldn't list any of the requirements on. And so they changed the agenda rules to say you've got to be a little more specific about what is going on. And when you go into executive session, if you're going into executive session, which one of the prongs you're going under the state statute. And from my experience, the Yankton School District has done this in the past, but I was kind of surprised to see, I think I don't know if you had a chance to look at it, but some of the Associated School Boards did a presentation on some of the Open Meetings Commission rulings in the last 2 years, and it just was oversight. No one is intentionally doing anything wrong, but not getting the agenda published or those types of things. So, yeah, public work needs to be performed in public. That's the summary. You guys have any questions?
No questions from me. I will say this was one of the things we talked about at the conference, one of the courses I think a few of us maybe attended, just because of some of these changes. And again, like you said, that's what the consensus seems to be, is nobody's trying to do the agendas or create them in a way that they aren't supposed to be, but just kind of honing in and really making sure that people know what we're speaking about. And that was one of the spots where I left feeling very comfortable and confident in the agendas that we put out here. So, any other questions at all? Thank you. All right, and then, well, you get to stay put. So we have our medication administration policy here.
We sure do.
Yes.
I know it looks like there's a lot of red line changes, but there really aren't. We moved some stuff around. Basically, this policy had to be modified because there's a new bill passed to include insulin and other diabetic medication and what students can self-administer. So that was added. We rewrote the self-administration section to more track the statutory language. And then we moved all of the trainings on the various medications that YSD staff have to do. Anaphylactic shock, nasal glucogen, opioid antagonists. We need Dr. Shield here so he could tell us what all those things are. But we worked with Jerome and made sure the nursing staff was good with the policies, and those are the changes we made.
Excellent. Anyone have questions on that? Okay, this is one that we will be entertaining a motion for.
I'll make the motion that we approve the medication administration policy as presented.
Second.
Roll call?
Greenway,
Yes.
Frick,
Yes.
Brandt,
Yes.
Mueller.
Yes. Okay, the next step here is that we will be going into executive session, or I will entertain a motion to go into executive session for South Dakota Codified Law 1-25-2, subsection 3.
I make a motion to go into executive session citing South Dakota Codified Law 125 3.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Frick,
Yes.
Greenway,
Yes.
Brandt,
Yes.
Mueller.
Yes. Okay, we are in executive session. I now declare us out of executive session. I'll take a motion for adjourning the meeting.
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Frick,
Yes.
Brandt,
Yes.
Greenway,
Yes.
Mueller.
Yes. That's my sentence. We're adjourned. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, same sign.